think he's trying to mouth something to me, but I can't make it out.
I scammed you, you fool! Now, Hollywood is home to some of the biggest stars on this planet, but what happens when some of those big stars crash land onto our planet that we call Earth amongst us regular, degular, schmegular civilians? Well, apparently to many people, once said star comes into close contact with them, everything is unleashed. Emotions pouring out. Lord knows what other things are pouring out. You get my drift. Pants are offed. Legs are open. Metaphorically, skulls get open and brain juice is everywhere, apparently. And bank accounts get opened. And bank accounts get opened in a very bad sense, okay? Not in the good sense, hey, I'll chuck some money in here. No, on the contrary, money will be chucked out of this account. Our story today covers Anne, a French woman, 53 years old, who genuinely believed she was in a real-life relationship with Brad Pitt. Now, Anne claims that this relationship began in February of 2023 after she began posting pictures of herself on a luxury ski trip. Now, you might be asking yourself, how does posting yourself on a ski trip result in Brad Pitt wanting anything to do with you? But apparently, Brad Pitt's mother messaged her upon seeing said ski trip pictures. And after receiving very lovely yet creepy messages from Brad Pitt's mother, a day later, Brad Pitt himself, in quotations, decided to pay Anne a little virtual visit. Now, this Brad Pitt claimed that Brad Pitt's mother had spoken a lot about Anne, apparently to Brad Pitt, and Brad Pitt wanted to get a sniff of things.
What did that just mean?
Now, this sniffing that we're talking about, you could argue is Anne sniffing many lines to even believe any of this, but it's the scammers opening up their nasal passages at the mere mention that Anne was going through a divorce with her wealthy husband, which for some reason she decided to disclose to said Brad Pitt. Now, Anne claims that poems and positive, kind affirmations were running rampant, and, in her very own words, there are so few men who write you this kind of thing. I liked the man I was talking to. He knew how to talk to women. It was always very well done. Now, Anne claims that she did have suspicions, but as time went on, the more they spoke with each other, that suspicion died down, but it in particularly died down once she received photos of Mr. Brad Pitt. Now, this oh-so-wonderful relationship took a dark turn when Brad Pitt, shock horror, wanted money. And why did he want this money? Well, Brad Pitt proposed to Anne, as you do after a few days talking online. This proposal, of course, came with the promise of many extravagant gifts. But there was a catch, because of course there was a catch. To receive said fancy gifts, she had to pay 9,000 euros. And for anyone that's wondering, 9,000 euros is approximately $9,200 or £7,566. That is a hefty fee to receive gifts. Now, with Anne being so willing to send money, the scammers thought, let's up the stakes here. Especially considering that Anne decided to tell Brad Pitt about the aforementioned divorce with her millionaire husband. Brad Pitt did what any good scammer does and delve into the trick bag of horrors and pulled out cancer as a means to receive further funds. According to Brad Pitt, he had an urgent case of kidney cancer that needed money to help fund treatment for. You might be asking yourself, where did Brad Pitt's money go? And you'd think Anne would ask similar questions as well. However, the scammer had the oh-so-genius idea to say that the money was tied up in a bank account and Brad Pitt could not access said bank account as he was in the middle of a divorce with Angelina Jolie. It was at this moment that Brad Pitt decided to send oh-so-wonderful images of himself in hospital receiving said treatment, and my oh my, are we in for a surprise/treat when we look at these images together. Now, this first image is amazing in the simple fact that we've seen scammers so many times do up this childish handwriting, or maybe they'll Photoshop an absolute horror of an image together, face there. I'm holding a card that says, I love you. But this picture's real, okay? Look at the screen right now. You cannot tell me that that's not Brad Pitt. Now everything checks out, right? You got a hospital background, you've got Anne, I love you written on a card oh so greatly, but perhaps the greatest thing about this image is the sheer quality of it. Forget 4K, this isn't 2025 we're in, we are in 2669 because oh my, look at the sheer quality. The next image on your screen right now, I don't even know where to begin, right? Who's taking this picture of Brad Pitt apparently on a hospital bed? Why is his hair so slicked back? You knew you were gonna be filmed/taken pictures of. Decided, let me look nice while I have my surgery. I love how Brad Pitt looks slightly better quality than the doctors in the background. It's incredible. Not Photoshop at all. We have another picture of Brad Pitt here with the blurriest background potentially you will ever see in your lifetime. And not only that, his appearance has once again changed. Where are you getting all of this time, Brad Pitt? Here is Brad Pitt with his head shaved, really to drive home the whole cancer trope that we're running with. And also, I know what you're asking, who's taking all of these pictures? I don't know. Here is Brad Pitt once again with another hairstyle with I love you so much my wife written across the bottom of it. I didn't know that Brad Pitt had the time to create a collage type picture, but you go off, Brad Pitt. And potentially the greatest image you will ever see in your life. What is going on here? Why is the tube going into his chin? I'm not sure, realistically, how anyone can look at this image and think, that's real. Now, I mentioned Photoshop, but these images were actually AI. So if anyone was worried that AI potentially could be taking over, whilst there are some apps and services that do a scarily good job, we don't need to be worried if AI's future brings out Brad Pitt images like this. Now at this point, surely Anne would be thinking that Brad Pitt, the global star that he is, would have made news by now. His cancer treatment would be all over TMZ, for example. But no, not only that, surely you would expect someone to research said star lover and find out that Brad Pitt is already in another relationship. But she was spared having to do any sort of extensive research, as she found images online of Brad Pitt not in hospital and with his new girlfriend. Upon seeing such images, Anne decided to go to the authorities. And we shouldn't forget that the total amount of money that was sent from Anne to Brad to cover for his urgent kidney cancer treatments was 830,000 euros, which is roughly, at the time of recording, $854,000. And just for my UK peeps to get a whiff of the kind of money that's being thrown around, £697,000. I'm going to now put my leg on my other leg and not on the table because my mum would be very unpleased with that. Too much money these victims have, okay? I'm now relaxed sitting back because I don't think I'll ever get that kind of money. Oh my goodness. Stop! Now, I can't wait until the end of this video to ask this question, but why is it that so many of these victims don't seem to grasp the fact that your suspicions are there for a reason. Why are you waiting until you get into the hundreds and thousands of dollars before anything going off in your head? Look, oh dear, man, The authorities have since then launched an investigation, but at this time of recording, it's not currently known whether Anne was able to receive or get back any of her money. It is also reported that Anne is hospitalized in a clinic suffering from severe depression, so I do want to extend my love and strength to Anne. Now, I do want to look at some of the reported comments made by the public and just talk about them a little bit, sort of like a little tantalizing talk section in this video. We have someone by the name of Sarah who writes that romance scams are the cruelest. Now, don't get me wrong, romance scams in themselves are evil. But to say that it is the most evil scam in the world and that scammers have stooped to the levels of, I'm not sure. But at that point, we're arguing semantics, right? That's evil. No, that's more evil. We're doing some sort of evil Olympics, which I don't think would catch on in real life. So I think, yes, it is cruel, but my personal opinion, I don't think it's the cruelest. Another user questioned whether or not Anne could have actually Googled if Brad Pitt was actually in the hospital. And look, your answer is as good as mine as to why she did not. Someone did write, and I'm not particularly in agreement with this, why you need to know what your old folks are up to before they give away your inheritance to Brad Pitt. I do agree with the fact that you should be made aware, or to not invade privacy, but to sort of keep an open ear and an open mind about what's going on with the people around you, particularly if they may be vulnerable, because you never know, of course, that your inheritance could be being pissed away. But the person singling out old folks is a bit concerning, because you seem to be of the opinion, or is what seems by what you've wrote online, that you seem to be of the opinion that it's only old folks who are scammed, when in actuality, very much so that is not the right thing, and neither was that sentence grammatically, but you get my point. Of course, if you're not new to the channel, or you're not new to scams in general, a lot of younger people also fall victim to these type of scams. We've seen a woman in the past fall victim to a Chris Brown scam, for example, so it does happen to anyone who's not adhering to common sense, or, as I mentioned, if the skull metaphorically has been opened and there's brain juice everywhere, you probably didn't have much brain juice to begin with, let's be honest. But get a grip. There's a user by the name of Jay Kennedy who does mention that his father is also being scammed in a similar way, but also mentions it's sad how lonely and lost older people get to where they are so delusional and do this. Now that again screams to me of someone else believing that it's only older people who seem to fall for this. That's not the case. I hope everyone realizes that you can fall victim to a scam at any point in your life, but I also want to mention that I've said before in another video that victims have too much money and they seem to willy-nilly throw it around, and I'm going to stand by that, because oh my goodness, even if this was a genuine relationship, why are you sending that much money to someone who can't even call you? And also, as a sort of side note / tangent, if you are online dating and you are in the midst of a real person, they're not a scammer, they're not a Brad Pitt, right? They're not a Johnny Depp or a Keanu Reeves. If that person is genuine, I'm urging everyone, do not mention your financial status to them. Even if you are going through a divorce, your wealthy ex-partner is going to leave you a hefty sum of money, don't mention that, because you're getting the relationship off on the wrong foot. How do you know this person genuinely wants to be with you? So scam or not, chill out with some of the information that you expose to people. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I'm knackered. Yeah, I'm nax. I'm now sat back because what a ride this has been, huh? Brad Pitts, I've mentioned the Johnny Depps, I've mentioned the Keanu Reeves. Chill out with the Keanu though, because he's with me. Know that for sure, he's with me. But please everyone, hopefully you've learned something. Hopefully if you already know to have your wits about you online, hopefully you've now been made aware that there's a Brad Pitt running around who has kidney cancer, and watch out. Watch out. If you do want to see more, I covered a video here about Kevin Costner doing up dirty things to a British woman online. Have fun with that one. Bye. And do you have spare money left to send to me, please?